And the White House scrambling to keep up with the rising COVID cases nationwide, as we're seeing in Arkansas, and continue to push for people to get the shot. A little while ago, I spoke with the man helping lead that charge, Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra. At this point in the pandemic, what is your biggest concern right now?
School's about to start full time, and we want every child to go back to learning in person. We want every child to be safe. We want every teacher to be safe. The last thing we need is to see this Delta variant take a total hold of our communities, including through our kids. And while children have been very, very strong in fighting through this, the fact is that more and more kids are becoming infected. More and more kids are going to the hospital.
When do you anticipate a vaccine will be available and approved for that younger group, 12 and under?
So all of this is being done by the experts, not by just anyone in Washington, D.C. You got to leave this in the hands of the medical experts. They will report to us shortly.
It does sound as though we are on the cusp of FDA approval, though, for the vaccines currently available for 12 and up. When do you think that will happen? And do you think that that will help sway some people who have been hesitant from getting the shot?
We have to be patient because the science moves at its own pace. And we have to make sure that these scientific facts are reliable, so that way we can put them before the American people and people can have very strong confidence about the word from FDA. So stay tuned. I think the FDA is trying to move as quickly as they can.
You brought up two words I think that have been sticking points for so many over the course of this pandemic: science and trust.
Well, the way you counter anyone who says can't trust it is to take a look at the actual facts on the ground. And today, with over 300 million vaccine shots going into American arms, with today most people who are fully vaccinated surviving even when they do contract, if they happen to contract COVID, surviving. And perhaps the most compelling fact to me, the fact that more than 99% of the people today who are dying be people who are unvaccinated. I think the facts speak very loudly that these vaccines are safe and they are effective.
Do you think that we'll go into another lockdown? Should we be considering travel restrictions in the U.S. again?
Marty, that is a question totally up to Americans. That is a question totally up to those Americans who aren't taking on their personal responsibility. But it's up to us to win this fight. If we don't do this as a team, I guarantee you we're going to pay the price. As they say, if we don't hang together, we'll certainly hang apart.
Do you think that's a real possibility, that this could get worse before better?
Well, no one knew about Delta when we first heard about COVID a year and a half ago. Today, Delta is sweeping through America. More than 80% of infections today in America are the result of the Delta variant, not the original COVID-19. Could one come along that's more transmissible, more potent? Who wants to play the game of guess? This should not be a game of Russian roulette.
We are in the final days of the special enrollment period for health coverage through the government. What is your message to people ahead of that deadline?
If you don't have health insurance, at least with the marketplaces under the Affordable Care Act, you won't be able to sign up until January 1st. And Marty, the great news is that one of every 3 Americans who has gone on to these marketplaces to get an insurance plan through the Affordable Care Act has found a plan where they pay some $10 or less a month in their premiums.
Secretary Becerra, appreciate your time. Thank you.